Irish guy, and 9-0 on aggregate to Liverpool. For any Manchester United fan out there, this must feel like a surreal nightmare. I mean, you know, the one that's almost too ridiculous to believe. You know, a bit like the bad dream you get after you eat too many wine gums after 9 p.m. You know, the one where you're forced to check the prostate of Piers Morgan whilst letting Elmo off Sesame Street bite off your ear. Yeah, doesn't sound too fun. But this, for Manchester United, it's a disgrace. I don't care. I know that Liverpool are a wonderful, devastating team, but I don't care. This is Manchester United Football Club, who spent over £1 billion in 10 years. I mean, Christ, well, Man United are a club who, yeah, you faced great teams in the past. I mean, like the all-conquering AC Milan side in 2005. I mean, sure, you lost, but you lost with dignity. Just 2-0 in aggregate. I mean, even in your humiliating Champions League finals against Barcelona where they conquered you with ease, they were still respectable scorelines. 2-0 and 3-1. It's fine. Nobody got too embarrassed, but 9 without reply? This is supposed to be the biggest game in English calendar, right? Oh, really? How are Sky going to market this match for next season, when these days it's just a Liverpool training exercise? Honestly, next season, don't you dare insult my intelligence when you try and mock up a blockbuster trailer for the match in October, featuring some black and white goals from Scholes, Torres and Suarez behind some dramatic Einaudi piano music, as if the whole thing was directed by Michael Bay. No. In the past 3 meetings between these teams, Liverpool have stuck 13 goals past Manchester United. 13 goals in 4.5 hours of football. This is not a clash of the Titans, where you need to be glued to the telly to see who wins. No, it's just a pitiful demolition job. In the last 4 games against this club, Salah has scored 8 times. For one player to consistently do that to Manchester United, it's inexcusable. Chris, last night he was millimeters away from bagging his second hat-trick in 2 5-0 wins over Man United inside 6 months. It's just absolutely horrendous. Absolutely horrific. If you're a Manchester United fan, this is enough to make you sick on the carpet. By the way, try and hit 150,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Lads, we're closing into this, alright? If anyone could do it, it's you legends, alright? If you're new here and you're not yet subscribed, slap the big fat red button. This is the channel where you should be. Anyway, back into the video. Conceding 4 goals in 1 match should be a stain and blotch on the history of Manchester United. You should not dare let this happen. In the same way a boxing great like Tyson Fury would be embarrassed to come out of a ring with a busted eye socket, right? For a great club like Manchester United to concede 4 goals in 1 match, it's like a sporting goat like Tiger Woods chipping 3 balls into the lake. And yet, Man United have conceded at least 4 goals in 1 match 5 times this season. Under Fergie, sure, it was rare, but I mean, when it did happen, it was almost seen as an offence. I mean, when they dared to ship 4 at Middlesbrough in 2005, Roy Keane was storming out of the club the same week. Conceding 4 from Manchester United was seen as a disaster, but not anymore. Now it happens all the time. I mean, before 2010, the club conceded 4 goals in 1 game 7 times since 1996. It just didn't happen. But then, in November 2010, Fergie watched his second string lose 4-0 against the West Ham team coached by Avram Grant. A game where Carlton Cole was made to look like peak Drogba, despite in reality mostly being about as threatening as a melting milkshake. But that was the beginning of the decline of the squad and the erosion of standards. I mean, Christ, ever since The Rock began to creep in 2010, this proud club conceded 4 goals in 1 match 16 times. I mean, they've conceded 5 in 1 match against relegation battling teams like Leicester and West Brom. And let's not forget a 4-0 cup exit at the hands of a club formed in 2004 with a Will Grigg pencil up front. I mean, it's fitting that Fergie's last game in charge was a defensive car crash, letting West Bromwich Albion bang 5 past David De Gea. I mean, Fergie was leaving after the game because, I mean, do you really think he had the energy left to teach Phil Jones how to defend? No, it's like trying to teach a cow how to play the violin. It just doesn't work. In the last 11 years, Manchester United have lost at home by 5 goals to 3 different clubs. I mean, the worst thing is, they were against 2 of their most hated rivals, and Tottenham, coached by the guy they just sacked. No! You've given Man City and Liverpool bragging rights for life. Honestly, they were your mortal enemies. It's like Sherlock Holmes letting Moriarty take a poo in his fridge, or if James Bond allows Blofeld to drown his dog in the kitchen sink before getting off with Moneypenny on his beanbag. This is not good enough. In fact, it is a disgrace. I mean, here's a sobering fact for Man United fans. Newcastle United have mostly been a Premier League punching bag and laughing stock for years. It's a team who've lost 250 games of football since 2007, and yet they've only ever lost a home game by 5 goals twice in their history. One was a 6-0 defeat to Liverpool in 2013, and the other was a 6-1 loss versus Chelsea in 1961. But that's it. Don't underestimate just how shameful a 5-goal home defeat is in football. Honestly, if this were in medieval times, the manager would probably be marching to the town square before having his hands chopped off and fed to the pigs. For a massive monster club to lose at home by 5 goals. Oh, it's been like the whole world discovering that you just poured your sister behind some wheelie bins. It's disgusting. It's shameful. If it happened to Manchester United 3 times in the entire history of Old Trafford, then okay. But no, it's happened 3 times during the career of Little Mix. It's a disgrace. The 2 games in the footballing calendar that Manchester United must not lose: Manchester City and Liverpool. I mean, Jose Mourinho clearly got the memo, because in his 2nd season in charge, across 4 games, it was a combined aggregate win of 6-5 to Man United. But this season, 15-1. Yes, 15 versus 1. I mean, that was the name of a Channel 4 game show in the 90s. Now, that's the level of fight against your 2 enemies. Man United have beaten Liverpool in the Premier League once since January 2016. That's nearly 6.5 years. I mean, Jose Mourinho was sacked for the crime of losing to Liverpool. You haven't beaten them in the league since. 9-0. I mean, I guess the signs have been there for this. I mean, we all remember that viral video from 2016 when Rio Ferdinand gave a pretty cutting and ruthless team talk to the Manchester United under-15s, where he said they should be embarrassed because they just lost to Manchester City in the derby. Guess the score? Yeah, 9-0. And in 2018, the Manchester United women team lost to the Salford youth team. Guess the score? Yeah, 9-0. This scoreline is a recent culture of the club. I mean, to be fair, Man United also squeezed in a 9-0 winner versus Southampton recently, but still, everywhere you look, we look at the class of 92. 4 years ago, Nicky Butt watched his Manchester United under-23s relegated to the 2nd tier. The whole culture of this club is rotten to the core. I mean, Harry Maguire came out before the game and he said that hurting Liverpool's quadruple bid was not motivation. Well, I'm sorry, it should have been. I mean, this is what happens when the Manchester United captain is just a Sheffield United fan. I mean, this guy who grew up cheering on Paddy Kenny and Billy Sharp. I mean, he was stood in the Bramall Lane terraces munching a bag of Maltesers. What does he know about a rivalry with Liverpool? This man is supposed to be the leader of Manchester United. Look at his face. Can you imagine receiving a team talk off this guy? It's a man with self-pity splashed across his face. His football's answer to Kirk Van Houten. I mean, this guy can't even make it through his summer holidays without messing it up and winding up in a Greek court. Before the match, Maguire came out and insisted he wouldn't be playing every match if he was playing badly, and that people only come for him because of the price tag. Honestly, the self-awareness is on par with David Brent. To me, the most worrying part of all of this is that by the sounds of it, he thinks that his performances are actually acceptable. Just admit it, the Manchester United captain's armband weighs on your bicep like a 30 kg brick. Honestly, the weight of responsibility is a burden. I mean, he's like Frodo Baggins with the ring. Please, somebody take the thing off his arm now, because honestly, if he spends the next 5 years as Manchester United captain, he's going to lose his hair, get bags under his eyes. Honestly, he's going to be Sheffield's answer to Gollum, not caring if Liverpool win the quadruple or not. This is a complete lack of respect for the history of Manchester United and all the players that came before you. Does he not realise that if Liverpool win 4 trophies this season, then that miraculous 99 treble winning team will be airbrushed from history? I mean, that is the club's big brag over every team in England, that they are the only ones to do the treble. Maguire, like his teammates, should have been fighting tooth and nail to preserve the legacy of Beckham, Scholes, Roy Keane and even Dwight York. In the same way Arsenal fans always get nervous whenever Liverpool or Man City look like they're going to go the whole season unbeaten, because otherwise that invincible tag gets flushed down the toilet. But no, these Man United players, they didn't bother. But Man United, they only have themselves to blame. They were the club with just a sticker noseable Virgil van Dijk from Southampton to instead save their cash and spend out the fee on Victor Lindelof. Again, it's like if the Chicago Bulls had chosen to turn down Michael Jordan in favour of giving the number 23 shirt to Barney the dinosaur. You've only yourselves to blame. Liverpool have been so clever with their transfers. Thiago Alcantara, he cost £70 million less than Paul Pogba. And I'm pretty sure not one person at Manchester United ever looked twice at Andy Robertson from Hull. I mean, to Ed Woodward, anybody from Hull would have been beneath him, right? It's why he let Leicester sign Harry Maguire first. I mean, it's not just Maguire. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he was a brilliant one-on-one defensive right back at Crystal Palace, yes. But honestly, he'd been a top-class fullback in 2005. You know, back in the days when Phil Neville was popular. But the modern-day wing-back needs to get forward and chip in with assists too. They're almost like second wingers. There is a reason that Gareth Southgate would clearly rather lick vomit off a public toilet seat than invite this man into his squad. Aussie choosing to spend £60 million on this guy. Does it not give you a hint that maybe you were chasing the wrong person when you realised that the only other team rivaling you for a signature was Everton? Another club who don't know what they're doing. Honestly, that's like turning up at the same job interview as that homeless man who shoots pigeons at the airport. Maybe that's not the office job for you. Man United were rocking up to Anfield and picking Phil Jones in defence. You know, a piece of Manchester mould who was bought 11 years ago. He's outlasted 6 different managers at this club. He should have been moved on long ago. This is the equivalent of Jurgen Klopp picking Sebastian Coates in defence or Joe Allen in midfield. Why is he still there? And 28% possession for Man United. They saw more of the ball in those infamous Champions League finals against Barcelona, where they were outclassed from start to finish. 28% possession. I mean, Brighton, Brentford and Norwich have turned up to Anfield and saw more of the ball than that. Leeds United even had more possession when they got slapped 6-0. Manchester United had less shots on target at Anfield than Shrewsbury Town. This is beyond a joke. Honestly, Manchester United 9-0 on aggregate to Liverpool. Honestly, I don't think the Man United players have fully comprehended just what they've done. Lads, Liverpool won 4-1 at Old Trafford in 2009. You know, the game where a chunk of tissue like the sailor scored, and they didn't shut up about that game for 10 years. What sort of ammo and fuel have you given them now? Sure, Man United fans can half-heartedly sing about Stevie G's slip, but I mean, it doesn't really matter when you've just lost 9-0. Honestly, you've given Liverpool ammo for decades. This isn't just a loss of 6 points in a season. No. This is an edible stain that you have left on the history of Manchester United. And honestly, it's an absolute disgrace. By the way, just before I go, a quick word. Thoughts are with Cristiano Ronaldo, of course. What he's had to go through this week, nobody should ever have to go through. And honestly, thoughts with Ronaldo. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, I'll talk to you in a while.